Now let's get started with our file and let's create some views of our own. Again, we're going to start with the machined part design file open. We'll go to our new dropdown and make a drawing from part and assembly. We're going to select our drawing millimeter template and say OK. Now we're going to have the view palette open, but we're going to click on the auto show option to pin it open. It automatically moves our window. We can fit the sheet to screen and we can start creating our views. I'm going to drag the top view. I'm going to auto drag this view here and I'm going to say OK. Now once I do, I'm going to select the pin and automatically allow it to hide our task pane. Now from here, we have two views, and currently those views are linked. This view here that was projected can only move left and right because it's linked to the parent. The one on the left can move in any direction, and you'll notice that they float together because they are technically locked. Now this is a great option, but you can also undo the lock if you wish. You can right-click on your selected view, and you notice that we have lock view position, lock view focus, and under alignment, you can break its alignment. So there's a few different ways that you can modify and manipulate your view if you want to align them or unalign them with certain other views. We're going to keep our views aligned for now. Now, once we have these views, we can select them and modify any of the properties we want also. We can go back and modify its display, for instance, but you'll notice that as we do that, the parent and child relationship holds true. If we go to the projected view, notice that we can modify its display state individually without having to affect the original drawing view or drawing view 1. For now, I'm going to keep both of them as hidden lines removed and say OK. You'll also notice that in our tree, in addition to sheet format 1, which we looked at originally, we also have drawing view 1 and drawing view 2. If we expand one of these, you'll notice that we see the machined part design SOLIDWORKS part document. We can expand it and we see its entire tree here. Now, this is very handy if you want to do things like show a sketch that's hidden, access some of the geometry, or maybe even get information about things such as the Thread 4 and Thread 5 feature. If we right-click on these, you notice that we don't really have an edit feature inside of here. So while we can see this information, we don't have a quick way that we can get in and edit this inside of the drawing file. But you can right-click on the file, and you can go ahead and open the part, or open the part in position. So this is a very handy tool to use, especially if you have an obscure position or you want to add some reference sketch geometry at the drawing level or at the assembly level that you can use inside of the drawing file. So if we say open part in position, you'll notice our file is already open, but it goes and it moves the part into the same view that we're currently using. Let's go back to our drawing sheet. Let's look at adding a few more views. From the top section, let's go ahead and select our View Layout tab, and notice that we have 3 standard views, which automatically creates them based on the first and third angle. We have a Model View, which allows us to manually insert another individual view, just like we did originally. We have Projected View, which allows us to select a current view and create a projected view based on it. Now this allows us to pull it in any direction and get an isometric view or a straight view off of it. And hit Escape to get out of that. You notice that we have an auxiliary view. Now this allows us to add a view by unfolding a new view from a linear edge reference. So we can select a reference edge and notice that it automatically pulls it out. So this can be handy when your projected view doesn't get the exact same orientation that you're looking for, especially on parts that have edges like this, where we want to make sure we have a very specific viewing angle. The next section we have section view and detailed view, and these are going to be very important to you. Section view allows you to do a few different things. You notice by first you can select section or half section. So these are some handy options, especially when you're dealing with parts like this that are revolved. You notice that we have a preview on the screen of where the line is going. You can select the directions and orientations of the cut. For instance, if we want to cut through this direction, we say OK, we drag this over, and you can see the resulting cut. Now you notice the line comes in here, goes down and over. So what we're seeing is a cutaway of this section right here. Now we can always go back in there and we can modify it or we can delete that section simply by selecting the view. So you notice that we can flip the direction and change the way this is oriented. We can modify the view itself, and we can go into more properties, which gives us the view properties for things like the display state, which we could directly link to. We could hide the cutting line shoulders. We can also go into the section scope. If we have multiple parts, we can choose to exclude certain features. Now, once we say OK, you'll notice that we now have the original projected view and the section view in the same orientation, showing a cutaway of the part. So this allows us to see details such as the inside of this part where it's hollow without cutting away the entire thing. But you might be wondering, that might be a pretty small view, especially on this drawing. What if we needed some more detail? Well, now we can go into the detail view option. We can draw a circle, and we can have a detailed view of a certain area. Now you'll notice that we have some options: detail circle per standard, broken circle, with leader if we want that information, and so on. We have some options. We're going to do per standard. We're going to scroll down. We'll do a full outline, and we're going to modify the scale. So you notice when we do a 1:1, it's a little too big for this drawing. So we can go down and do a 1/2 size, and you notice that it doesn't really fit very well anywhere. If we scroll back up, we can turn off the full outline, and we can still get that section view with the detail on it without having to obscure too much of the information. We say OK, but you'll notice that it puts the detail down here. We might need to move some of the markers around so we can actually see them a little bit better. So currently we have our original view. We have our section view showing the B. We have our detailed view showing the C leader, and we have our original projected view. Now again, at any point in time, we can move these around, and the views are linked together. So because the original view has both a projected view and a section view based on it, these will automatically move together. Then we can take our detailed view, move it off to the right, and now we have a nice orientation of all these different views. And again, these are not linked to the point where they can move the original view, but the original view can be moved up and down to link those together. We could also select views, right-click, and we could lock them together. For instance, if we wanted to lock the view position, you notice that now everything is fixed and it prevents people from moving them around. If we select them, right-click, we can unlock the view position, we can right-click and align them horizontal by origin. So now all these views are perfectly aligned, even though this one wasn't originally set to move with it. But see, now everything moves in line, and we have a very nice progression of detailed information. There are many different ways that we can create views, so we'll expand on some more options that we have in the next video.